there's a rather spiritual aspect to each of these programs.
Intense poetry, intense music.
It can be the investigation of emotion, or it can be the investigation of love, it can be the investigation of philosophy, but there is a sweep and a tide that carries through all of our storytelling that is amplified by the music and the poetry itself.
Our core ensemble is made up of the founders: Nigel Gore, the actor; Chris Turner, harmonica player, also an actor; Charles Sherb on violin; and myself on viola.
One of AUREA's great goals is to explore the interface between music and the spoken word.
Though much is taken, much abides. And though we are not now that strength which in old days moved earth.
We try to make these interesting connections between music and the spoken word.
Made weak by time and fate, but strong in will to strive, to seek, to find, and not to yield.
You know, getting actors and musicians and jazz musicians and composers all together and stirring them up and seeing what comes out of it.
I think what I love most about AUREA is the improvisatory nature of the group, that we can explore so many different facets of music and poetry and theater.
We'll have string quartet music broken up with poetry and then harmonica things placed in between. So the whole program has a completely different character.
The sky breathing with stars. We have chanted. I have prayed.
Music and contemporary poetry, you know, and the way those two link together is quite fascinating.
In the swell and fall of her body, I feel her fill with light, more light, more light. I could be her father, grandfather. I am almost her child. For in the well of her breath rests the wisdom.
What happens with AUREA is that, you know, you'll get a certain amount, you know, you'll get a poem and then you get the music, but then it shifts again, and so, you know, you're kind of brought back into the moment and back into the heart of the experience.
Her being.
You know, watching Chris play, you know, he's like John Coltrane. I mean, he just blows his soul through that thing.
Chris is no ordinary harmonica player.
The straight road with the high horizon was never straight. It spirals in, centers briefly, spirals out, begins at a gate, ends at the center, begins at the center, ends at a gate. We turn,
adding
again.
My
We pass ourselves to and
original
from
harmonica
through
pieces
lifetimes
into
of
it
seasons.
produces an unusual combination
At a
that
gate at the
people seem
center
to really
passing,
enjoy.
Always passing, and we begin again. Walking a while together, heart to heart, hand in hand, curling always. The beauty of the spiral path, walking unceasingly to love.
That's the most important aspect of the program, is the flow, is the arc of the idea.
The viola and the harmonica are, you know, they almost melt together sometimes, so it gives this amazing, unlooked for texture, which is totally unique.
What we love to feel, and we can feel it, you know, even on stage, we love to feel that the audience is completely with us and is following the flow of these magical words and pieces of music. Even if you've never heard this music before and you've never heard of the composers or the poets themselves, it works on a very visceral level.
Every program we put together is unique.
The thing I love about it is the absolute unbridled passion that we have for what we do.
The one thing that I find the most intriguing about AUREA is the collaboration between the disparate art forms that we bring together.
Do you think we should?